Hi, and welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind for Monday, November 10th. I forgot which month it was, 2025. And today we are going to be talking about integrating Substack and Skool and tiers and gift gift I want to say gift baskets because we were talking about Christmas, but it's really about creating subscription options in your school community in the classroom portion. So to begin with, let's talk about Skool and Substack and kind of how they work together, because I think there's a little bit of confusion because they're both standalone platforms. So if you've got a Substack account, it's really a place for starting conversations with people and sharing your message and growing a list and being able to get your thoughts out to a larger and growing audience, as well as it's a great place to post podcasts if you're going to create your own podcast around your own content. You can put them up there and it's free. So you're not having to pay for a service like Buzzsprout or Captivate or Lisbon or whatever the million of other podcasting venues are out there, because Substack will give you an RSS feed so you can set it up so it automatically goes out to Apple and Spotify and all of the other podcast disseminating places. So it's really a succinct space to have a podcast presence. And on top of that, it goes out to your whole audience, your subscriber base, but it also goes over to the notes side of your Substack account. And then it gets put out into the Substack community. So if people are looking for information around, because there's a search feature on Substack. So if they're looking for information around what your topic is, you can get found that way. You can get found in the notes. You can get found just in the podcast section. And they do promote podcasts over on Substack, but it's nothing on Substack is pay to play. It's just the more likely you are to acquire subscribers from the content that you're putting out, the more you're going to get pushed out into the greater ecosphere of Substack, because they get paid when you get paid subscribers. So they want to do anything they can to get people who are going to create subscribers from their publication and then turn those subscribers into paid subscribers so that they can make money. That's how it works right now. So what you can do with that is have people subscribe to your Substack, but also encourage them to continue the conversation in your school community, where you can sell them products. I like and and continue the conversation with them. So you're growing on Skool because you're having conversations on Skool and you can get found on Skool, but you can also get found on Substack. And that's how the two kind of play together. And as you're growing on Substack, you can use the subscriber base to give them a gift into your community. So, because you have three sections for having paid subscribers. One is just a free subscriber. So it's just they opted in to be on your list. You can have a paid subscriber, and then you're going to give them something for being on your a paid subscriber to your Substack. And part of that could be a better or a second tier on your school community. And you can go the other way. Let me just put it this way. When people sign up on my school community, on a paid tier, they get made to be a paid subscriber over on my Substack. It's the same for everybody that's coming in, and a VIP on Substack is a VIP on Skool and vice versa. You can kind of mix and match as you go, but if you keep them all kind of the same, then you're not having to worry about, oh, this person's getting access to this, but they're not a paid subscriber on the other thing. So it just kind of helps you keep everybody on the same path, but it also helps you be able to go back and forth with the two. So while Skool has a great discovery engine, Substack also has is a great space. And where you would where what I see most subscribers or most content creators over on Skool doing is leaning heavily into YouTube. Substack, hands down, is much easier to start getting traction and subscribers than YouTube is, in my opinion, if you're starting from scratch, because you just have so much more space to articulate what it is that you're talking about. And when you post videos over on Substack, you're not having to worry about your content getting wiped out or taken down, because they don't have the same kind of rules that YouTube has. But there's also the part that Substack, your content in Substack goes into the Google search engines. So it does get picked up and indexed in search. And so you've got like that synergy going on. And because you're connected to Substack, there was a group a long time ago, it was probably like 10 or 15 years ago, that they started doing something called, it was the Empower Network. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but what they did is they networked blogs together, so that it was the synergy and the juice of people all blogging together that really allowed for their content to rise in Google. And I think some of that is happening with Substack right now too, because you've got other people, and especially if you're like commenting on other people's content in the network that is similar to what you write about, you're putting backlinks to your stuff. Every time you comment on a note, anytime you comment on other people's content, you're backlinking to your content. This is kind of like a little more advanced SEO type stuff that I'm talking about here, but for those of us who came from a blogging background, SEO is still hugely important. And they're letting AI access Substack. You can turn it off if you want to, but to me, AI is just the search engine on steroids right now. And it's looking for content, and you may as well get referenced as an authority and whatever you're talking about by AI, because it's going to get there anyway. You can be mad about it, or you can use it. So my philosophy is I'm just going to lean into it and use it. So do you guys have thoughts on any of the stuff that I've just like blown out? Questions, comments?
No questions. I did notice the other day that I was looking to see if one of my article in the press had been published, and I put Jariva in, and Google gave me all the Substack and all the Skool and the comments that I left. So yes, it's definitely, you did mention that before, so that is what I've noticed. No, everything for me, it's pretty much clear on that point, and even the concept of SEO and the links. Yes.
I'm curious if you know what metrics they're really looking at, because like for Skool to get higher in the discovery, you want people actively commenting and leaving posts or comments in your community, as well as it growing. So what are some of the metrics on Substack Is it just the comments coming back to you, kind of like a backlink, or is there some other other metrics that are important too?
Are you talking about Substack metrics to get found, or are you talking about Google metrics for Substack?
Substack, you said they had a good discovery engine within Substack.
They
So when
do.
somebody searches, I'm assuming they have their own algorithm for which they bring people up. Yeah. So I'm referring to that. What are the metrics within that search that are most important?
I think it has to do with comments, certainly. If you're getting comments on your posts, if you're getting a good open rate on your emails that are going out, I think that that plays into the equation. They also it's really when you're posting notes, are you getting interaction with your notes? Are people subscribing from your notes? Because they know what the metrics are. You know, you get so many free subscribers, you're going to get so many paid subscribers. And if you can bring, like, I have a lot of paid subscribers relative to my free subscribers on my Substack, but I actually I manipulated it. I think of it as I manipulated it, but what I really did is I made an offer, but the offer involved becoming a paid subscriber, an annual paid subscriber to my Substack. And I got a bunch of subscribers that way. Um, and that's how I introduced the 4-week intensive. I'm just going to do this for my paid subscribers, and you can join as a paid subscriber, just an annual member, or you can do the founding member and you get 2 extra calls where I help them with something. And it doesn't have to be super duper course, but like I really did it on the fly. It was like I saw that people really needed help, like hands-on help to get going on Substack. So I just gathered them all up, said we're starting on this day. We'll do it for 2 hours for once a week for 4 weeks, and by then you should be good. I didn't do a lot of overthinking, and there's not like there are a lot of worksheets in it because I'm a big fan of worksheets on Google Docs. But other than that, I didn't have to like record videos and put content down. But now I have this really robust thing that I offer to people on the side. You know, you can become a paid subscriber to my Substack, or you can become a paid subscriber to my school and you can get access to it. It's still good. But we just went, oh, I held everybody's hand. Everybody opened their Substack and we got started, and we went through step by step, did you each one of the settings, because it's confusing when you first go over there. You're like, there's 2 sides and I don't know where to start and I don't know how to find stuff. It's the finding stuff in the beginning. It's just like, I'm lost. Close it up, move away. But once you understand how it actually works, it's like, oh, wow, this is so easy. And it can really take the place of your blog or your website. And it's much more powerful than a website. These days, to me, a website is nothing more than a glorified business card, and writing books is kind of getting to be that way too. It's a lead magnet that takes a lot of time to put together.
Nice, thank you.
Okay, so that was a really long answer to a very short question. So I'd also like to talk about the gift box strategy here a little bit. And I really want to open this up to be more of a roundtable discussion. I was thinking that if you have a school community that is involved in any type of e-commerce, like teaching people how to do e-commerce, or just flat out selling stuff, that gift boxes that people could subscribe. And maybe you have a freemium community, which means you have a free community, and then you have 2 tiers. One's a premium and one's a VIP. And they're not going to change those labels, and you're not allowed to change those labels, so that when you ask people in the schoolers community about the like a freemium or a premium or a VIP, that we're not all talking a different language, is what Sam said, which I thought was, hey, that man is kind of a genius. But he thinks things through. Like, if we do this, what are the long-term repercussions going to be? And so the platform has grown amazingly well over the few years that I've been interacting with it. But anyway, so in these communities, or in these, if you're doing e-commerce, you could set up, like, in your classroom, you could have a subscription to gift boxes, where they could either be physical things that you send to people if you have like a more local clientele or membership, or it could be digital things that you give to people. But they can expect it each month, and it can be surprise, and you can build up to it, and it can be, you can work on ways to increase your membership, because people want to get these surprises and have like a box opening on, oh, we're gonna open the box, everybody needs to come to the Zoom, and we're gonna, like, or the school calendar event, because you don't even need Zoom on Google, on School anymore. So, and then you have the excitement of people going through the things that you put in there. That's just one idea. Or you can use a school community. Yes, you can use it for teaching people stuff, but I'm seeing more and more people use it in unique and interesting ways. Like, there are some communities that use it to allow people to promote their own communities, which is an interesting idea, depending on what your community is all about. If it's about helping people get visible, like, I'm probably going to add this to my community, because mine is about helping people get in front of other people. And the more they grow, the more I believe our community will grow. And there's just a beautiful synergy in people sharing what other people are doing. But that's just me. So that's another option that I've seen going on out there. And there are some communities I know of that are doing this, that the charge to be a paid member is so reasonable. I mean, it's just like, yeah, no brainer. And maybe you take that into consideration in terms of what you want to do, or you can just have them buy that option outright. Like, you can pay $5 a month to have your promotion in the school community. And then, if you don't want to pay the next month, then it just goes away. Or you can become a paid member, and then it stays on as long as you're a paid member. There's a little bit of bookkeeping that would be involved in that, but you can also lead people off the platform to straight to a Stripe link or a PayPal link, where you can set up subscriptions for them. School doesn't like you to do that, but it is possible to do that. So if you wanted to set up like just that one little section doing it that way, it's an option for you. And then you can have welcome boxes. When people get to different levels, they can have different things open up for them. And the more enticing the presentation of what's going to be available at different levels, I think the more inclined people are to actually get to those different levels. And I know there's a lot of new people coming into school from different aspects. And I think as the school community continues to grow and really starts to gain more momentum, because people are leaving, let's just be honest, people are leaving Facebook and LinkedIn in droves because they're just not getting the reach that they used to get. And it's expensive for for anything over there. And it just feels like you're picking up crumbs to me. And so they're bringing their communities over to Skool, and some really big names are using Skool. Like Tony Robbins has an account on Skool now. I mean, it's out there. And Tom Ballou has an account on Skool. He's bringing his community over, and these people don't have small communities, they have huge communities, and they have the ability that if they really wanted to, they could just go start their own thing. But they're looking at what Sam Evans has created and saying, why reinvent the wheel? But as they bring these people into the community as a whole, they're also going to be interacting with more and more people, because we all have different interests. And when you're in different communities and you're talking about stuff, it's not always about selling. It's about being a real person and having an opinion and an idea. And I'm learning how to draw. I I thought that part of my life was gone, and I might go buy a guitar because I found somebody that he teaches guitar. And it's just like I have all these other things that I love in life, and I'm finding communities on Skool that are like all about them, and I'm learning about new stuff. And as you have these conversations in other people's communities, your community is going to continue to grow too, because some of those people are going to be interested in what you're doing. And it just is like, it's just this big ball of mirth, as that guy on Scrubs would say. Forget his name. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Are you as excited about Skool as I am?
Definitely, and I like this gift box idea. And I'm gonna ask you the question. I think you've covered it already, but
Mhm.
would it be possible to have a gift box um membership just for the gift box instead of having it into the premium? So maybe somebody doesn't want to pay to be in the premium, but they would still like to get the monthly stuff. That's a possibility.
There's yes, and there's two ways that I can think of to do that. One is
Mhm.
just to set them up on a subscription on like Stripe or something,
Mhm.
and then they can opt out whenever they want, but it's not really connected to Skool. And
Mhm.
the other way is to have it a monthly thing that you can buy every month. They can make that decision to get that month's subscription box.
Okay, well, that's right.
Do you have other ideas, Jason?
In regards to what you had just mentioned, I would just highly recommend, if you can get them to be a subscriber as opposed to a one-off. Yeah, usually a better outcome for you as the owner. They'll oftentimes stay subscribed much longer than if they've got to choose to purchase it each month. So something to keep in mind. But yeah, I think going with a
Yeah.
Stripe or something per se off platform to create the actual purchase is a good idea.
I also think that if you can get people to become an annual subscriber rather than a monthly subscriber,
Yeah.
is really the way to go. And it's better to have them pay a lot less to be an annual subscriber, but not have to have that churn every month, which impacts your visibility on Skool as well as on Substack. Um, it's it will make your life much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like having it as a standalone thing instead of being part of the tier one or tier, no,
Yeah, the premium or VIP.
premium or VIP. Yes.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can definitely do that, and you can do it on Substack as well, where you just you're putting the custom button there so that they can just go over to that Skool
Mhm.
classroom section and make the purchase, or just go right to your Stripe and make the purchase there. Um,
My
and
my next question about school especially was about was going to be about visibility. So because so when I went when I first signed up for school, it was a specific group, and then I kind of got into like, oh, there is all these different communities, so I joined, and now I've realized that I'm not active in a lot of this community, number one.
Mhm.
And number two, some are not active, or I'm not sure how the algorithm works, because oftentimes I don't even see it, there's any content put into this community. Like I always, in my notification, I always get the same groups, which it's probably the groups that I've been more active in. So I'm kind of like sieving through all these groups and removing myself from some of them. So my to get to the point, my question to you is, from a strategic perspective, is there like an ideal number of members that a good community would have, so that when you are posting a comment, it can actually be seen and it starts the interaction, rather than putting a comment into a group that has thousands and thousands of people? So is there like a threshold, like don't go in groups that have 20 people, but don't go in groups that have 20,000 people? Do I
I
make
would
sense?
say definitely go in groups with 20,000 people, like the schoolers group, and post posts. Don't just don't just comment on stuff, though do comment on people's comments, but posting your posts up there. Most communities are really like, please post something here. We need your
Okay.
content. And we want the people that are in the communities to start conversations. That's what the community is all about, is not to spam people, but to provide, valuable content. Like in communities where it's appropriate, you can talk about what you're posting over on Substack. Hey, I created this video. I like posting like long content video, and by long content for me, I'm like 8 to 15 minutes. But if you and this is what Evelyn Weiss has done to grow her YouTube channel. She has consistently posted her YouTube videos on Skool and with content around it, and people will watch it, and so her numbers go up. Um, Over there on YouTube, it kind of helps with the synergy of the two. So if you post your Substack content over in communities where it's appropriate, then people will respond to it and they'll be interested, and they'll check you out and they'll join your community and they'll have comments.
But like if I do it in your group, I know I could post. But like most of the groups, most of the sorry, I still keep they call them groups, Facebook style. Most of the community, all the posts there seems to be done by the community host. I don't really see people posting them. So like how like
Because people don't know that they can.
okay.
And that's really the bottom line. Until we get people trained to,
Mhm.
hey, your voice is important. Come and share. Give us your thoughts. Tell us, ask us your questions. Contribute to the community. Let us know what you're discovering. How did this land for you? Um,
Okay.
it really depends on the group, but it's not so much of, hey, look at me, come back to my community. It's, hey, look at me, I've got something really important to tell you that's
Yeah.
relevant to the whole community.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And I beg your pardon, did you say yes to the groups that have thousands of
Yeah,
members or not? You say
yeah,
yes. Okay.
absolutely. You should
Because
have a nice
I
mix
left
of the two.
one. I left one community And I didn't, I thought I was going to go unnoticed, but actually the host messaged me and wanted to know why I left.
So there's
So,
somebody that's paying
clearly-
attention to you. You matter to them.
yeah.
Join back
Okay.
up and
Okay.
contribute. They want you to. It's like, I'm holding an open house. Come on in.
Yeah, okay, that was my thing because it's it's all fun and good exchanging gifts and having loads of fun like in the school hub, but yeah, it has to have a purpose. I can't just turn it into Facebook
Yeah.
scrolling. Yeah.
And I would definitely second Jill, what she's mentioning. It's actually hard to get people to interact sometimes. So if you're willing to go in and interact, that's usually a help to nearly any community leader. Obviously, yeah, it's most helpful if you're providing content or providing value in that community as opposed to trying to pull them away from it. But anything that you're currently, even like insights that you're having or things that you're learning and you want to post it and share, or your wins, and those are almost always useful. And in regards to the numbers, I can hear what you're saying, but yeah, communities with the higher numbers, it's good to have a couple of those. And then some of the smaller communities, if one of the things that I found actually with one of the reasons why I love showing up with Jill is she is so passionate about her community. I'm like all in to support her as much as I can. Even though per se it's a smaller community, it's not thousands of members yet, but I think she'll get there.
Mhm.
And with that being said, you can really create some strong relationships and good rapport with some of the smaller communities if you're in there and you're just kind of adding value and helping them build their community, helping show up, because that's usually when it's the hardest, is when you have fewer members, so fewer people are posting. So it is almost always the community leader posting, trying to get people engaged, trying to get them going. Yeah. So
It's
I
kind
just
of,
guess it's
asking
worth trying.
questions and asking questions, sparking sparking curiosity with people and getting them to engage. And it doesn't always have to be like, it's not so narrow. You're not always having to promote. The promotion happens just because you're a human being and you're showing
Yeah.
up more on Skool than any place else. They just, people want connection with other, like, real human beings, not AI, and not like you're telling me I'm doing my life wrong. They just want interesting people. And God, really, what you're doing is so fascinating. I'm like, to me, every time you post something, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I never thought of that. Or what about this? Or,
Thank you.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's it- you're you're just an interesting human being, but I think everyone is an interesting human being,
Yeah.
and everyone needs to be able to just like get up and shine.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, I wouldn't really do it to poach people to my group or to sell something. Just to bring value and to share my knowledge. So I'll definitely give it a try. And yeah, maybe it makes sense. The smaller community, it's hard to have people interact, and that's why I always see the host um doing that. No, but yes, those were my two questions for today.
I know on Substack it kind of works the same way.
Hmm.
If you start interacting with people who have similar audiences size to
Hmm.
you, and you just really support their work, and sometimes you can even reach out to them. I know you started doing this
Hmm.
on some of the stuff that you're doing, but if you just reach out to other content creators over there and you can invite them to exchange content, like
Hmm.
you post their content on your Substack and they post on yours, or you just tag them in content that's being created, and then they can approve it to go out to their audience and your audience, and go live with people over there. That is like such a huge way to get visibility on Substack, because they really are pushing lives and they're trying to do the whole YouTube, TikTok Instagram thing. It's just like all the social media platforms eventually morph into like do
Those,
videos, do carousels. YouTube will let you do carousels now. This
yeah,
is like a
yeah.
totally new discovery for me. I don't know where they go. I don't know people are looking at them, but hey, I'm putting
Have
them
you
up
had
on
any
Instagram. I may as well put them up over there.
have you had any views on the carousel that you posted?
I
Like
have no
like
idea.
if you haven't checked the
That's what I'm
stats, so but
saying.
fair enough. That
I,
that
I,
would be
I,
interesting.
I'm unsure, and I'm unsure that I'm really a great. My account's a great place to like determine that because my account's so new and it's
Fair enough. Fair enough. Actually, I do have another question because I know that this is another one of your areas of expertise. Pinterest, for both of them,
Mhm.
is it a good place to drive traffic to both of them? Is it worth me investing my time on?
Pinterest is about discovery and it's a great place to sell stuff. It's morphed over the years from being just a picture repository to a
Mhm,
space where they want to sell you stuff. So if you put a pin up on Pinterest and it has like pillows and a couch and a lamp in the picture, and it could be about, marketing on school, then they're going to try to sell the people um, pictures of uh or they're going to try to sell people lamps and couches and pillows. um you can just buy it off the pin. It's kind of like Amazon now. If you watch Amazon on television, you can
okay.
just move your little cursor right over there and buy it right now, which is like
Okay.
so bizarre to me, but it's the world we're living in. But yeah, Pinterest is still a good place to get traffic. But and I'm in a lot of different Pinterest communities. It's better in some venues than others. Like if you're selling clothing, apparel, and in what you're talking about and on your Substack, if you have affiliate links, I think it would be worth putting pins that led to that and even using
Mhm.
pins in your content. Um,
But not
a
for
really good
blogs,
person
like,
to follow is Pot Pie Girl, Jennifer Ledbetter. She she has been studying Pinterest for years, and when Pinterest first started, I met her on Squidoo, and she's really amazing at creating courses that are like easy to follow and implement.
mm-hmm,
I learned so much from her. Um, and I asked her to please put together a course on Pinterest years ago, and she did it for me. And so she's just like a run with that since Squidoo closed many years ago now. And she's she looks at the ins and outs, and she's a very analytical person. So she looks at all the metrics of stuff and
mm-hmm,
she knows how to make Pinterest really work for you. So if you're interested in understanding how to use Pinterest, I would strongly recommend that you go to potpiegirl.com and get on her list, if nothing else, because you will get so
okay.
much really useful information when it comes to Pinterest.
Okay, I'll have a look. Because I still have your course, the one you sent me a few years ago. And not as much for school, but maybe for Substack.
Mhm.
At once upon a time it was used to drive traffic to blogs, so with that in mind,
Yeah,
more than anything. But I'll have a look at this lady.
great.
Huh.
Anybody got any other thoughts they want to share?
I want
Comments?
to bring it back to the gift box idea, if we could, for a moment, and just
Yeah.
kind of brainstorm around gift box. So hard goods, I think, are at least easier for me to think of different ways to do that with the hard goods, a little bit different with the digital goods to a certain degree. But I was just thinking, okay, what if we had Jill happens that have a very similar market niche as I do, and it's like, what could we come up together with, or maybe a couple with a couple of others to each put something in that gift box that then gets opened up each month, and whether however we wanted to run it, to either split the subscription fee amongst all of us, or do it more of a as a lead generator, and maybe I don't even maybe as a lead free subscription box, but something from each of us that could be in there. Just curious your thoughts
I
on that.
like that a lot, Jason. I like that a whole lot. Yeah, people that have similar communities on Skool, if we all had a box in our classroom that had all of, say we have 5 of us that are all kind of in the same niche, and we all contributed something of value that's slightly different. It's a lead magnet, but a good lead magnet solves one pressing problem for people quickly. And so they get a win, and then, come join my community. And they get a new lead magnet each month in they could in this box that's in our community. And each of us have the same box in each of our communities, so that we're all able to share our expertise with each other's communities. I think that would be a great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you really could do it. We could even help our clients, set that up for their niches. People that are doing health, they could all provide a gift box, because it's very similar to doing a giveaway together or even a summit together, except we bring it into the subscription box style.
You could do summits that way too. You could,
Yeah.
You can have, I know a community that they were doing that. They had summits, and we call them anthologies, in fact. You have a group of people, kind of like the whole book anthology thing, where you have everybody contributes, and you have maybe 10, I wouldn't do more than maybe 8 or 10, and you do videos. Everybody has 30 minutes, or everybody has an hour to do their presentation. They can do a workshop in there. And workshops are hugely valuable to people if done right. They are lead magnets, and they should solve a problem, but then open the door to the next problem. If you did that in your classroom, how cool is that? And everybody that's in the summit has that same classroom, and only one person has to put it up, because there's a little link where you can share those classroom courses. Whoever has the link can just drop it in their classroom. That would be really easy to do. I like that idea a lot, Jason.
Yes. Because it gives you more visibility in different communities.
And it really expands your reach. And even like with this thing that we're doing on Wednesday with going live on Substack, we could do something like that on Skool. We could put that into Skool as well, in the classroom section, and everybody could share it in their school communities, because it's related to each individual is going to be sharing about what they're doing, and their message, and then there will be like a chat between you guys about different aspects of it. And then if you each put it in your community as well as on your Substack, just one more space for growing.
Yeah.
That's actually it's because for us, we've decided to do it this Wednesday. If we had more time, this gift box would have actually been a good idea even for us to do it, but we can leave it for for after the panel. Because when I had the idea of the panel, I didn't even think that you would come up with a couple of people to join us, and now we have four. So, but it's an amazing idea, Jason. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And it also like, because I was thinking like what I can offer, and it would definitely be digital, but it would also be like it saves you, it's even less time consuming for one individual to put one piece of content in the gift box every month, because then you have other 4 or 5 other people contributing to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Mhm.
I love these masterminds. I love when, you know,
Great.
that just like getting together and talking about ideas and
Yeah, I think a lot of people misunderstood that I thought this was the brainstorming, because I think we would have all benefited from this masterclass, this mastermind tonight, but hopefully they will watch the replay. But no, that's definitely something to be working on and brainstorming about it. And yes. Oh, and Jason, thank you for letting me in your community. You're one of those communities that I want to. It's just the time of your classes I'm in mom mode, unfortunately, so I won't
Uh,
be able to join them, but I'll start watching the videos and everything.
yeah, and please post. Come in and
Yes,
post. Oh
okay.
yeah. Feel free, share your insights. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
it was
No, it
great.
will be all for me, unless.
are there any final thoughts, Jason? You want to share with people what your community is so that
Mhm.
so it's
Sure.
not a mystery?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll keep it hidden and shrouded. No, it's just a community for coaches, focused on just coaches. We don't allow other people in that are trying to sell to coaches, such as whether they're people that are doing marketing or trying to get the leads or yeah. So we really try to keep it focused towards coaching. And it's really kind of out of that love for the actual process of coaching. And there's all different styles of coaches. So I love that there's a wide variety. We see coaching even a little bit differently, and we kind of celebrate that and definitely celebrate each other. New coaches that have been coaching for years. We do a lot of different meetings. So if you want to work on your coaching skills, we've got a lot of peer coaching that the community just holds for each other. So it's very much community driven. There are 2 of us that facilitate the group and have kind of kept it going. And we also do different type of mastermind, but we do some masterminds. We do networking, which I had the pleasure of having Jill at last week, and hopefully she'll be at the next one too. Because so yeah, we do coach training. So it's very much focused towards that element of coaching and really developing your coaching skills. And we also try to help with business, but that then kind of goes more towards the paid community that I have, which is focused much more on the business as opposed to the actual coaching itself. So hopefully that clarifies it a little
It's
bit.
a vibrant community and lots of cool people hanging out in there. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it's growing, which is excellent. That's one of the reasons. Actually, it used to be a Facebook community, kind of another shout out for Skool. We had the Facebook community, and then I was running a paid Skool community, and I'd been growing that, and eventually just Facebook, you get no reach. Anything that you're posting in there goes out to like 1%, maybe not even 1% of the group.
get
It
3
was
people
just
out of your 1,900 members.
yeah. So we ended up bringing it over to Skool, and I've put a fair amount of effort in trying to bring people over too, but I just love the interaction. It's so much easier for people too, with it between the calendar, having events there, and then the classroom. We had a lot of workshops and things that we had done, but it was kind of really hard to find that in the Facebook group. So been loving Skool for that, and continue to grow there. And I think we're early in Skool. I think that's kind of one of the exciting pieces of this too. You had mentioned Tony Robbins. They just did their event last week, and they got that group up to, I think it was just shy of 60,000 people for a brand new group. I think they started it over the course of 3 weeks. They run a ridiculous amount of ads. YouTube. So, but it's just exciting to see people are investing into it and bringing over, more and more users to the school platform. So it's going to be great.
And Hormozy, he's always promoting it, and
Yeah.
Sam is out there doing advertising for the community. So it's not like you have to personally
Right.
spend money to get people into the community. You can. There are people that will teach you how to do that, but it's just like the community itself is really robust, and it's got some big names driving new members into the platform, and people, it takes a minute for them to understand how to get into other communities, but it's kind of like Substack was a while ago, and still is to some extent. People just don't know that it exists out there and how powerful it is. And as it continues to grow and people discover what a wonderful space it is, rather than a space where you're always wondering, am I going to get shut down next week? Are they going to put me in jail? Are they going to shut off my ability to communicate with people? How much do they want me to have? And how much control are they going to, exhibit over what I want to talk about? I mean, it's just like you can be you in these spaces. And if, you're not welcome, they'll let you know you're not welcome in this space, but it doesn't mean you're not welcome in another space. And it's just like, find where you're comfortable, hang out there, talk.
Ashley, I do have another question, guys. A quick one, because I know we're about to run out of time. Because we've done the class last week on setting up the school community, and then now the tiers have been implemented with premium and VIP. How much free content would you add to the freemium tier? Shall I start to the 4 that I had masterminded last week? Should I add more?
You really should just start with your 3 basics, the start here,
Yeah.
the about you
Mhm.
course, and then your lead magnet. And the about you course can also include what other offers you have for people in the
Mhm.
classroom. So if you're going to offer, different things for different levels, like if you're doing a freemium community, you want the freemium to be the main community, and you really want to encourage engagement in there. And then you want the next level, maybe you have something that opens up on level 2, and you really want to push them to get to level 2, because once they get to level 2, then they're at least like engaged. It's like releasing the brake or the clutch on a car. You get them engaged, and then they're rolling. It may be slow, but they're rolling a little bit. And then that thing that opens on level 2 might be something that really encourages them to get a bigger win and post about it in a comment thread that you put at the bottom of that classroom thing. And be sure to recommend people go to the classroom, because a lot of people don't realize that the classroom has the stuff that it has, and that they're entitled to all of these things. And some of the things you could offer in there, like I have my free client acquisition audit is in my classroom, and anybody can sign up for that. You just go to the link that's in the course portion. But you can do the same thing for what you're doing, because I know that you want to have an actual conversation with people, so you can get them on your calendar that way.
Okay.
So that you're opting them into your system.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. Any final thoughts, Jason?
No, I appreciate you holding this space, sharing your knowledge and all of it.
Shout out the name of your community.
Coach's Life Lab is the free community.
Yeah, perfect. And Maria, you want to share your community? I know you're still kind of working on it, but
My community will be called the Soul Stylist Studio, because I don't just dress people, I style their soul.
I love it.
So beautiful, so beautiful. We'll see you
Yeah.
guys next week for the next Monetize Your Mission Mastermind on
Mhm.
Monday.
Monday.
Bye, you guys. Have a great
Bye-bye.
week.
And you. Bye-bye.